All right, we are live at Lollapalooza. My name is Marty Leonards, and joined by Brad Shultz of Cage the Elephant. Brad, so nice to have you here, man.
Thanks for having us.
Okay, how many times have you played Lollapalooza? This has got to be like the fifth or sixth
I think this
time.
is our fifth time.
Yeah.
And as we were just talking about, it's rained on every time except for one. And that one performance that it didn't rain, I threw up on stage. So,
you know,
we've weathered some adversity here.
Yeah. Well, you should do that when it rains so that it maybe gets cleaned
Yeah,
off, I guess.
Exactly.
But you guys have come a long way, we'll say, here at
Yes.
Lollapalooza. Man, you started playing here, I think, even before you had a record, right? It was really early on.
Yeah. I think the first one we played was
Yeah.
like 2007.
Right.
And we didn't release the record in the States until 2009. So yeah, we played the BMI stage. And a little backstory on the expelling of the liquids in my stomach. I thought it was going to be a fun idea to chug some champagne before I went on stage, and then while I was on stage. And that was not a good...
Well, see, that was when you guys, it was so early you didn't realize you're supposed to celebrate after the show.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
we
how
were
that
just
works,
happy to
yeah.
be there.
Just happy to be there, celebrating the fact you were in
that
Chicago.
we got the show,
at
yeah.
Lollapalooza. Well, you know, now you come to Chicago and you get to do really cool things like go to Wrigley Field and throw out the first pitch like you did last night.
Yeah, it was crazy. I grew up a Cubs fan because in Kentucky, there's no professional team. So
Right.
you kind of have to latch on to whatever team you kind of like as a kid. And I was a huge Ryan Sandberg fan. And I probably have like 200 Ryan Sandberg cards to this very day, you know, sitting in my attic somewhere. But unfortunately, we had just gotten off tour when the World Series was around, and I have a 3-year-old daughter that literally every waking second that I'm not on the road, I try to spend with her.
Sure.
You know, and so we got an offer to go to the World Series, and I was like, oh God. So I stayed with my daughter, and Matt went. And this was my consolation prize, I think.
Yeah, I saw
throwing the pitch.
And I saw a photograph of Matt with Eddie Vedder out at a bar like really late after one of the World Series games. So he had fun.
Yeah, Matt actually met Bill Murray that night too, and went up to Bill Murray and said, "I like your movies." Just walked away. He said it was the most nervous he's ever been to meet anyone.
Did you get a chance to meet Ryan Sandberg? Was he around?
I didn't know. He wasn't at the game yesterday, but they said they were gonna get him to sign a ball for me.
Ah, cool.
Because I told him the story about it.
Well, I have to wish you a congratulations also because we haven't spoken with you guys since you won a Grammy. Since you won the Grammy for not like alternative record or not for up and coming band. You won rock record of the year. That's pretty significant, right?
It's definitely a huge honor. We you know, when we make music, we're only trying to reflect what we've been through in life and how our life is at that point, and our thoughts and that sort of thing. And so, you know, you never really think about winning a Grammy until you get nominated, and you're like, oh man, this is crazy. This is a huge honor to even be nominated. Right. And we didn't expect to win, so I had possibly the worst Grammy speech of all times. We had nothing written down. We forgot tons of people to thank. And then I think Chance the Rapper, you know, I respect what he's doing, but I think it was kind of out of left field for some people. They were like, what? And then Matt thanked his boots. And then we walked off stage.
Well, it's nice to thank your footwear. That's really a good thing. But that was great. You know, and it's funny because one of the first times that we ever did anything together was a live from Studio X performance, and Ain't No Rest for the Wicked. I talked to you guys, you and Matt, about how that song has now become like a radio song, a song that's just there, that's on every radio station's playlist. And now you have more than one. You have many songs that are just a big part of what radio stations do, and especially here on XRT. We play so many songs of yours.
We've been blessed to have you guys and a lot of other people behind us. you know, it's a huge blessing to have. You know, I think radio is, you go to bands that have songs on the radio, you go to their shows, and they're exponentially bigger than other media forms. You know what I'm saying? And it's you know, it's a great way for people to find out about music.
Right, and you've done it with your live performances too, which are legendary, which are always really great. And you know, to see you graduate to this level of festival band is, you know, it's great, because we've seen you go up 5 times here at Lollapalooza, and now where your place is here. And it also is the kind of thing that gets you invited to the Bridge School concert that Neil Young puts on, and you guys got to do that.
Yeah, that was an incredible experience. I think for this past year has just been one thing after another, just crazy things I would never dream of doing. And Neil Young was always a huge influence on us. So the chance to just even go meet him and, you know, say hey, it was cool.
And it also inspired you to do the new album Unpeeled.
Yes,
right?
In the rehearsals for the Bridge School thing, just became, we were having so much fun. It was giving us a very nostalgic feel, like, because we're going through all of our records, songs that we haven't played, some of the songs that we haven't played in 7 to 10 years, and just rehashing those, and because a lot of those songs we wrote on acoustic guitars anyway, so it just kind of brought us back to those days a little bit, and then just the dynamic of having the strings and all that sort of thing. We just felt like we had to do something more with it. Well,
you know, it's really cool too when I see the performances of a few of those songs. The energy that you bring to the stage is still there in acoustic, even though you're sitting down. It's weird.
Our timing's off. I don't know. It's our something in our hearts beat a little bit faster, I guess.
Yeah. Well, one of the songs from the record that we've been playing on XRT is Whole Wide World. It's a cover of a Reckless Eric song that was around in the 70s on Stiff Records. How did you get turned on to that song, and how did that come to
Reckless
be
Eric
one of the songs?
Reckless Eric was an artist that we became familiar with when we were living in London. And we were going through a huge growing phase in our band. You know, we were kids from Bowling Green, Kentucky, moving to London on a whim, basically. And we just were experiencing a lot of different things in all facets of life, you know, and music was just exponentially that we just grew exponentially in our even our catalog just of what we were listening to was growing. And so that was a guy that we were just listening to constantly, and that was the song that was our favorite. So that was actually the first song that was even mentioned when we mentioned about doing some covers.
Really?
Yeah, we were like, oh, got to do Reckless Eric.
Man. And you also do Golden Brown, a Strangler song.
Yeah, that's
another good song.
That's another one that we kind of got into while we were in the UK.
Yeah.
And then the Daft Punk song with Julian is just, you know, we respect both of those artists, and I thought it would be cool to do something totally out of the realm of the acoustic realm and try to give our best take and redo the song and kind of give it a different life.
You definitely did. Yeah, the Julian Casablancas song. And so, how many of these songs have you worked into your set?
What was that? Sorry.
How many of these new songs, the Unpeeled versions, do you do in your set? Or
we haven't gotten, like, we did the tour to record the record, but other than that, we haven't gotten a chance to integrate it into our set. But that's something we definitely want to do for like next record.
Yeah. Are you thinking about maybe touring a more extensive tour with the Unpeeled?
I don't know. We have honestly we haven't thought about it, but you know, it's not out of the
it would be a cool thing to see.
Yeah, I'd love to come back and do like Chicago and that sort of, because Chicago's always been, you know, we always look at it as the top city on our touring cycle. It's always, you know, our biggest shows and some of the most memorable shows that we've ever had are, you know, here at Lollapalooza, and also just doing our headlining shows.
Well, we're really happy that you're here today playing at Lollapalooza, and don't worry about the rain. It's going to miss you.
Oh, no, I'm not even, I like it. I'll bring it on. I think it's funny that happens, but I love it. I think it creates a little bit, you know, stirs the pot a bit.
It does, because what it does is it brings everybody together, and now they're there surviving the rain and enjoying the music at the same time. It brings everyone together.
And then if you're soaking wet, who cares?
cares?
You
Who
might as well
cares?
just go crazy.
Yeah, you're in the middle of a park at Lollapalooza. So have a great set. Have a
Yeah,
great
man.
show. And
Thank you.
you so much for coming by. Thanks for doing all the music and being friends of ours for so long. And,
Yeah.
all the best.
Thank you all for everything, all the support and everything you've given us. So.
You bet.